to the lovely Chelsea, who has a little announcement.
It's not really, well, myself and Beck were having a chat about trying to make a t-shirt or something for our class, and the idea came up, and I'm only telling you because I need everyone's input. We had the thought to do a My Feldy Family t-shirt. So I'm going to put some paper and pencils and whatnot up there. If you could all, possibly thinking about your cardinal line thing, draw a little portrait of yourself, write your name, and we'll make a Feldy Family t-shirt.
So you've seen
like
My Family on the back of people's windscreens? Yep.
But we'll do a My Feldy Family.
This is us.
If any, well, that was our idea. If anyone has a different idea for a t-shirt and would want to put it out there, please say so, or I don't know, whatever. But I'll leave some paper up there. I think the only thing, please don't fold the paper after you've done it, I was told. And can you write your name? But it's going to be like A4 paper, which is obviously going to get shrunk down to, you know, so it can fit us all on. So just make sure it's not too detailed, you know, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I'm going to leave some fine liners, like some black fine liners and whatever up there. But if you want to have a think about what you want to do over the weekend for yourself. No, put your name under your cardinal line figure or wherever next to it, so you'll have your own stick figure family. Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so in previous segments, we've spent some time talking about ways in which we might communicate with different segments of the community of people that we will work with, and thought about what message we want to give them. It's also useful to think about what do we want them to tell us. So, for example, when you start teaching classes, now maybe you start with people that you already know and you're already in conversation with, and so it's fine to say, look, just lie down and do what I tell you to do, and they will converse with you if they feel the need to do so. But if you get invited to teach in a community centre, or if you establish your own class somewhere, then people will come that you haven't met and haven't had a chance to get to know in that way. And so there will be things that you want to ask them. So can you think of some examples of the sorts of things you want to ask them?
Their job, they do.
Their job? I don't know. What if they don't have a job? Okay, but, you know, a lot of people I work with are not employed.
What interests them?
Okay, so their interests, someone said injuries? Yeah. Gloria, you said?
Yes, I think injuries. Any physical limitations.
Physical limitations, okay, yeah. What brought them? Okay, so that could be in fact two questions. What motivated them to come? What were they kind of looking for? Or what had they heard that seemed interesting? And where did they find out about the class? Which is always useful to know too, because that will help us put our communications in useful places. Expectations? Please submit on the reverse of this page an essay on your understanding of the Feldenkrais method. Have they had an experience with Feldenkrais? Yep. Why are you here? Okay. What do they want to do that they can't do now? Or what do they want to do better, perhaps? Yep. Okay. There's one other really important thing that you haven't actually asked, which is quite useful. Can you get up and down off the floor? Well, that's useful too. What's the beginning of a relationship with people? Name. Cool. That is a bit blatantly obvious. Okay, so it's implied. So it's interesting to think about if you're setting up a class, will you have a little form that people will fill in, and how much information do you want or need to collect? And if you do collect it, what are you going to do with it, and how are you going to store it safely and securely? Now, because we don't kind of come under the legal structure of being health providers, we don't have to follow the rules as kind of strictly as if you've got a kind of a medical qualification. But we do still have to be careful, particularly these days, of what information we gather and how we store it. So thinking about what is actually important to know, what do you want, and how much paper are you going to provide for these people to put down things on. If you think about, maybe think about your own experience when you first went to a class, how able were you to express yourself in relation to some of those things? One of the things you will discover, particularly as you start to work in FI with people, is you'll say to them, you know, anything I need to know, had any injuries, surgeries, whatever. And they'll say, no. Oh, I had my tonsils out when I was 3. Nothing else. And then you're kind of working away and doing things and you think, something funny about this hip. Have you had any problems with your leg? Oh yeah, I've had a hip replacement. Things aren't always kind of at the front of our minds. They become normalised, they go to background. And so the form that people might fill in or the information they give you initially always has the potential to grow. So would you just get into groups of, I don't know, 4 or so and think about what would you want on your little class form? Okay, now this may be just the beginning, that you then go and start a conversation with people and gather a bit more. If you have a large class, it might give you some ideas of themes. Sadly, in my experience, when you ask people, what would you like to get out of the class or what would you like to do better, they say helpful things like move better or more flexibility. Okay, it's a starting point. So, into little groups, just spend a few minutes thinking about what's important, what's useful, what would be a starting point